I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
Okay, I'll admit it. I tend to have somewhat hoarder possibilities brewing in me. And when I had Sarah, I wanted to save absolutely everything that she had ever done, said, you know, everything, wore. And I ended up saving like the first 6 months of her clothing. And then I realized you can't save everything. And I was able to at least pass some of her clothes on to other people who had children after me. And then came school and report cards. And then there's the pictures that they draw and every piece of artwork. How much can your refrigerator hold? And as they get older, they accumulate more stuff. And at some point, you realize you can't save everything. So, sisters, what do you save from your kids? Because one day your kids aren't going to be kids, they're going to be gone, and you're going to have all their junk. And let me tell you, they don't want it either. So, I'm struggling with how much we save, how much and how do we save them, and how much we just let it go. Barbara, you've had 3 kids. Yeah. How much of your stuff do you save?
Oh my goodness. Well, this has been an interesting question because I probably kept everything they ever drew, all of their papers with the high grades, and all that stuff. I started sifting through those things around the time that they were in high school. I knew I didn't need to keep every single thing they ever did. So I tried to pick like 1 or 2 drawings, 1 or 2 papers. But then as they went off to college, and then they would come back with these books, suddenly I was storing old college books. And then, of course, Lavinia, who got her master's in Chinese language and culture, all of a sudden I had all these extra books that were written in Chinese that she really wanted to keep. But see, now she lives in China. Why do I still have this stuff? And Lorelai, who had, a lot of paintings and sculptures. Well, during the time that we lived in an apartment and she had her own apartment, her place was always too small. So somehow I accumulated her stuff. Now I'm living in a totally different state. She has a house with a large basement, but still I have all of her sculptures, a number of her paintings. I have my girls' first and second dolls. I have crazy stuff. And then John, who went through this phase of wearing his clothes too big. So I've got a bunch of clothes that still will not fit him because they're too big. We have old toys of his, old DVDs, and John has given us permission to sort through his stuff and actually sell it on eBay. But and we've had this, Eric and I have had this conversation over and over about going through this stuff, putting it up on eBay. That, to me, that's already a lot of work.
It is work. Yes.
Got a garage with bins of their stuff. We did the good thing by labeling everything, so we know what's in everything. But we don't. We figured, oh, when you get married, you can come get your own stuff. Well, they're living in different countries and they still have not come and gotten their stuff. And I have friends who actually have told me the same story. They got a bunch of their grown kids' stuff in their attic, in their basement, in their shed. They keep telling their kids, come get your stuff, we're throwing it out. But they never throw it out and their kids never come and get their stuff. Now, with my oldest grandson, I have made a decision to only keep one or two things. And so he did this drawing when he was last year visiting.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. And it is, you want to interpret that for us?
It is I don't even remember. But I framed it and I will keep it, but I'm not going to keep everything that he does. And then I got some other really nice drawing from Aurora. She really made it for her father. It's really cute. I'm going to print that out and I'm going to frame that. But in terms of keeping these kids stuff, I remember going through bins of their baby stuff, their baby books, their first little trinkets. I went through all that stuff and sorted it. I got rid of a lot of stuff, but I still have a lot of stuff. And
Well, this is the problem, is because, when you die, they have to go through your stuff and their stuff. And
and
it
we
was,
have tried to guard against that, but
it's
somehow we
very
keep getting
hard.
my stuff again.
Well, I remember I told Sarah, because Sarah has danced since she was 3. So she's danced for 20 years. And for at least the first, like, she danced at one studio, and there was a time she danced at like 3 studios at the same time, but she danced at one studio, which was the one that she started with from the age of 3 until she graduated at age 18, 17, 18. So she was there for 15 years, and we had 15 years worth of costumes, because you spend the money for the costumes, and then as she took more classes, there were more costumes for each class. And so I had put them together, and I said, you can sell some of these, because you can sell them as for people who want skating outfits or other kind of stuff, not even just dress up clothes. I said, label them, sell them, and then you can keep the money. And she was too lazy to do that. And I didn't want to do it either. And that's the thing, is because it's very hard, because there's certain sizes. And you know that you would probably be able to sell all this stuff, like you say, on eBay, Barbara. But that's a lot of work. And to this day, I don't know whatever happened to some of those costumes. Some of the stuff, I think I ended up just tossing them. If they're not in the shed, they're probably, I probably like donated them or tossed them or something, because there's only so much of this stuff you can do. And you spend $50-$70 a year on costumes, and you want to get something back from it, but you can't. And you don't want to spend the time that it's going to take for you to put it on eBay and then try to figure out how, if somebody wants it, how are you going to go through this whole rigmarole of mailing it to them and getting the money, and whether it's Venmo or Cash App or all this other kind of stuff. It's an awful lot for very little return, for you to get like $25 maybe for something that you spent more than twice of that for. And I just said, you know what, forget it. Either I'm keeping it, or I'm just going to go and put it into the recyclable bin, where they do all of that stuff, because I already tend to hold on to things that, for sentimental value, like clothes that somebody else has bought me that I don't even wear anymore, but they bought it for me, so I feel like I have to keep it. And Barbara, I kept your that record player that you gave me when I went away to college, and it traveled with me all over the country. And I think I finally got rid of it here in Boston. And I felt so bad, because I said, "Oh, I finally had to get rid of your that record player," because I knew that you had spent a lot for it. And you said, "Oh, you still
remember that. I remember when she got that, and it was so special. I think Cheryl was so touched she cried. I remember that.
I took it to college with me.
I remember that.
Every place I had, I kept the original box so I could. And when I finally had to get rid of it, I cried again. And you had forgotten all about it by that time.
Right.
But we tend to hold on to sentimental things because
of the person that it's attached to.
Because it's a person that and you know that they made the effort, but that doesn't mean that we have to keep everything forever.
Well, there are a couple of books about decluttering, and I think Lorelei, showed me some stuff
Oh
that
yeah.
she had done in
And
decluttering, getting
Joy
rid of
and
stuff.
what is her Marie Kondo and the whole thing about,
Yeah,
you
or
know
you have
what?
somebody come to your house to help you declutter, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I want them touching my stuff.
Because they don't know the value of your things and you do. But
Right.
now you all know I'm living in the family house, and you know we live with a hoarder. And so she still has some of your old childhood things.
Oh
Well,
no.
I
So you
did
know,
finally find the last time, or one of the times I was there in the last couple of years, I did find my diploma from K State, which was
yes,
nice. And
yeah.
I took that, and because I knew that was there, and I took that, and eventually I'm going to actually put it in the frame that I bought for me and Sarah, because we both have K State diplomas now.
Yeah, I mean, and
But
those things are special. I mean, college diplomas, stuff like that. Of course, you never
Yeah.
need it for anything. Nobody ever asked to see it or anything. But it's
no, they
Unless
don't.
you're a doctor and you got to have it pinned on your wall.
yeah,
Yes.
unless you have to have it to verify who you are. But other than that, you know, whoever looks at it again. But it's important to have those things, those mementos that mark important things or sentimental value. But how much sentimental value do you have? Now, I knew that I inherited that hoarding trait, saving
You
a piece of
think?
paper because there's sentimental value. You know, at 10 years after, you don't even remember what it's for, you know, saving
Yeah.
flyers for events from 15 years ago. I mean,
Yep.
so I had to
Every
make
program that she's ever been in, every dance school program, every
yeah,
play that I ever saw, all of these things. Why do we hold on to these things? They
with
just
their
have,
memories. Their memories,
yes,
and you feel bad. Like if your house burned down, you're distraught because the physical memory is gone. And you have to understand the memory is still inside you. It's not the thing, but still you feel like you need the thing. I mean, what I did, I bought these albums, these photograph albums, and so I put all of my mementos in that, all the programs from everything, and you know all the stuff because I've saved all the school programs and everything. But you can't save all the papers. You can't save all of the report cards. I saved some, and you know you can't save all the pieces of artwork. I think I have a few, you know, from when Zakia was little. And she recently went through her things and found some of her old dance shoes and stuff from when she was in Boston and some photographs. I think she found some old family photographs and so forth. So I mean, those things you want to keep photographs. Nowadays, everything is digital and everything is
which
you know
helps, which
virtual.
helps. But
Which
but a lot of our stuff aren't.
helps.
You know, I've got bags and bags of because Barbara used to always send us copies of photos. I got bags and bags of photos of her kids, and I don't even have. There are not enough photo albums in the world,
In the
and I
wall
don't have.
space.
And when am I going to have the time to sit down? And she was very good about labeling. That's the other thing. You need to
Yeah,
be able to label things
At
yeah,
because
least have their name on it so you can say, oh, this is so and so. But
yeah,
you
because
know,
years, generations later, we're looking at stuff. Say, well, who was this?
yeah.
I
Where was
know
it from? Where was I? Who is this?
Now,
But I mean, at the
what
time, you
engine
feel
was
like,
this?
yeah. But you know, I think you do want to save some things for historic purposes. But like I said, you know, we know what our life was like. I mean, I have old ebony magazines. I'm sure they're probably valuable somewhere. I could, you know, take them to some
donate them
museum.
or something. Yes.
You know, I mean, really, some historic things that we have because our mother, you know, she believed in saving things.
Well,
So
you know, also, I think I wasted my time during the pandemic because all those times I said, oh, yeah, when I get time and I'm doing nothing, I'm going to put all these things in some kind of
or
album that
yeah,
I can sift
doing
all
that.
my programs to. You know, I've recently, probably a couple of years ago, I just started throwing out those little tickets I used to save from every movie I used to go to.
And I
And
still got a
movie
bunch of those.
I'll take a picture of it and then I'm throwing the program. I never look at it again after I've been to a play. Why am I holding on to this stuff? Nobody else is going to want to look at it either.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got boxes of those kind of mementos, and I'm sitting here, you know, trying to decide. Okay, now I have old movie tickets, movie programs played. I know I saved the program when we went to see
Playbills, every
Lion King.
playbill. However,
When-
I do also send, but I also save. So it's not even just about our kids' things; it's our things too that your
yeah,
kids are going to have to go through, like wedding invitations, death
People
notices
that they
and
don't
death
know.
programs.
I have
And
everybody's death certificate. I mean, not the certificate,
the
the
programs, yeah.
obituary.
Oh, I do too.
I save those things, you know. So like
Okay,
everybody
so
ever known, I got in a special box.
so our consensus is that we really can't help anybody here because we are the problem.
We are still hoarders. Now, one thing I can say about Zakia, because she, of course, you know, like the rest of them, lived abroad and had a bunch of stuff, you know, and she had to move, but she was wise enough to sell her things. So she, I mean, she shipped some things back, but most of her things she sold. And so she was not holding on to everything and sending boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff to store in the basement, because that's what happens when you live in a family house. Everybody's stuff is in the basement.
Mhm.
But at some point, you have to get rid of things, and I have to make myself really go through things and get rid of something. And I say to myself, was I looking for this? Do I use this? Will I ever use this? Let it go. You know, even if it's, oh, but so and so gave this to me. And I do have some
Exactly.
articles of clothing that are sentimental that I'll probably keep forever, even though they're ugly. I'll never wear them. But you know,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yes.
But
Wrong color, wrong style.
yeah,
Doesn't
yeah.
fit, never really
Hate
did
it.
make you feel good, but you got to hold on to it because you love the person who gave it to you.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is it. That is it. So the thing is to figure out what, like you say, Barbara, okay, maybe you get one thing that's symbolic of this is royal this year, and he wrote and he drew this picture. I don't need another one from when he's 5 years old. This represents that year, not saving anymore. You know, and you can probably do that sort of thing if you discipline yourself. But you know, when you're going through it as a mother or even a grandmother, it's like, oh, that's so cute. Oh, I gotta say this. Oh, that's so cute. I gotta say this. So you don't, you just, you have to make yourself not do that and
And
save
what about when they're older and you've got trophies?
Well,
trophies.
yes,
That's
I
another
have
thing.
to
Nobody
because
throws out trophies. Well,
I
some
have
people
trophies.
do.
I have lots of trophies. They are stored. Well, not they're just kind of got thrown in a box. Uh and because I don't have a trophy case, and my husband was like, oh, well, why do you need these? And I would of course say something mean like, yeah, you never won anything, so what do you
Oh,
care?
that's hurtful.
But
Sure.
he just laughed at me. But I had a lot of trophies, though. I had a lot from when I was a power lifter. So I had these trophies from, and I just, after we got rid of the unit that I used to store them on, there was no place to put them. I could probably put them in my studio, but there really is no place for them, and they're going to be just fine in a bin somewhere. No one cares about them but me. And this is the thing: is that I suggest, of course, I haven't done it because hoarder. I suggest that we use the digital tools that we have. You can digitize your photos, you can digitize, clothing, you can digitize all kind of things, and just take pictures of them, put them in folders, on your phone or on your computer, and you have them, because it's really, really hard to hold on to stuff. Now no one cares, like I said, about the trophies and things like that, but if you have a place where you can put them, awards and things, you're going to want to display them. But you're not going to want to display all your kids' trophies for the rest of their lives if they go into something.
You might. I mean, it depends on the
You
space.
might,
We got a
and
couple shelves here. We got a trophy case. Well, I guess I kind of made into a trophy case. So I think I have all of Zakia's trophies displayed. It kind of depends on how many children you have too, because I mean, if you got
if you
three
got one, yes.
and everybody's in everything, but
Yeah, I
okay,
got all of John, Lavinia, and Lorelei's trophies from
yeah.
track and basketball and swimming and water polo.
It depends on how much space you
Uh,
want to give that. Like if you got a big yard, you
medals.
want to give it space,
Yeah.
maybe.
If you
But
have the space for it, but
if
that's
you have
the
the
thing.
space for it,
And
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you have your kids' stuff, and you years and years and years, and you're moving their boxes from your house into
and they ain't coming to get
and
their
they ain't
stuff,
coming
and
to
they
get
got
it,
a
they
house
don't
and
want
a
it.
family.
And or you can pay, or you can put it in storage, pay for 1 month, and say, if you still want this stuff, you will pay for the rest of it, and if not, they will auction it off for you, and you get nothing. And then you become part of that storage war show. But there's other things, and it's just really hard because as mothers, we want to hold on to every single second, for the most part, of our kids' childhood. You
Yeah.
can't. They're
And
going to grow
sometimes
up. They're going to get older. They're going to leave.
yeah. But
If
you
you
know,
And they don't
want to,
want their stuff.
but
they don't want
sometimes though,
this.
sometimes they depend on your house being the place where they can go and see it and bring their children. Oh, see what I used to do, but they don't want it clutter in their house. But it's okay for the clutter. Sure.
And then
Yeah,
they'll come back and then say, "You see how grandma's house is all messy, right? All that
we're
stuff."
not doing that.
But it's their stuff.
It's their stuff. Now I have a bunch of, you know how you get those certificates and everything. I used to have all those framed and everything. There's not enough wall space for all that. So I have it stored in a box. I don't know what to do with it, but I can't throw it out because it just, sentimental value. I don't know what I'm gonna ever do with it, but it's like every certificate that everybody won and all of that and mine. So
Perfect
times like,
attendance, straight A's,
yeah, all that.
honor.
So how
You
many
know what? It's funny, Barbara, that you say that about the perfect attendance and the straight
Mm,
A's. You know what? When push come to shove, no one cares.
no one ever asks.
No one ever
I'm
asks.
so proud of,
You
oh,
don't
look
have
at
to provide
On a
any
dance floor
excuse.
with somebody. Oh, and what were your grades in grammar school?
No one cares.
no
No,
ever
and you know what? I hesitate to say this, um, as a teacher, and I'm assuming that my students don't watch this show, so I can do this.
You do, you're in
But
trouble.
when you get out of school, no one asks what your GPA is either.
They
That's
never
true.
ask. They don't
I
care.
have been a journalist for more than 40 years, and no not and I've had many jobs, several jobs. I've turned down more jobs than I've had, but no one has ever asked what your GPA is.
Or
Kids
your
put that on
attendance.
their resume. They
Yeah.
don't care. They want to know if you can do the job or not.
That's
And
it.
nobody asks to see your college diploma unless you're a doctor or a dentist or something like
Right.
that in the in that kind of profession where
Yeah.
you need to
Maybe a
display
lawyer or
that.
something where you need
No
to
one is, but and that's the thing. It's so we save things that are only important to us, and we need to, if we want to declutter. And I have a lot of stuff as I look around this room, all the stuff piled up in corners. Um, but like the newspaper when Obama was elected.
I've got that.
Man, it was hard for me because I had,
That's historic. Well, I used to have a mouse pad that had Obama's face on it, and it kept getting more and more worn. Finally, I had to throw it out. I took a picture of it so I could say at least I had a mouse pad of the first
yeah.
Black president, President Obama, on my desk for many years. But the thing was shredding. I had to toss it.
Well, the thing is, now that so many things are digital, there's not really a physical copy of it, especially like with news and things like that. Maybe there will be less saving the newspapers because I had a hard time. I had a whole bin of papers I thought were important. Of course, I had the Obama issue when he won, and the water got into the bin that I had a lot of the paper saved because I had to take. I mean, it's just so much clutter. I had to take the bins out to the garage. And I felt really bad when I got ready to toss all the stuff out of the garage so we could finally put a car in the garage. But
Oh, is that what that's for?
yeah. So I felt really bad because a lot of the papers in the bin that I was saving got wet. And I'm thinking, okay, I got to make a decision. I can't just keep holding on to this stuff. It's waterlogged. It's old. Yes, he won. It was historic. I'm sure it's in a library. I'm sure it's online. Let it go. I mean, I had to really, it's like talking yourself down off the ledge. I mean, it was
Yes,
hard. I had to let this go.
Hey, listen,
Hard.
we did a whole thing, a time capsule of Sarah's very first year. And for some reason, and I thought I had sealed it, but it became unsealed. And all of a sudden, when I started going through it a few years later, there was like shredding, which meant that a mouse had gotten in there and had shredded some of the newspapers. It was like the year she was born, I think either Venus or Serena had won Wimbledon or something, one of many times that they did, and there are a lot of other things that she had, her that first year. So I had to like clean that up a little bit and then go in and set it aside. So if you want to do a time capsule for your kids, do it. That's another idea. If you can get a time capsule and put their childhood in one contained space. And then the rest of that stuff can go, because we're always going to want to keep everything, and we can't. And they're going to have to go through all the stuff that we've been hoarding of our own when we die. And I've already told Sarah, when I go, just go into my stuff and throw out everything.
Yeah, except for stuff you want to wear.
Yeah,
but she already
they're already sad that you passed on, but now you're making them also angry with you for making them go through all your
stuff. Cussing you out as they go through your stuff.
Yes.
Yes, don't make it harder for your children. And that is a thing. That's a good idea, though. Just create a time capsule. If you've got stuff that you've been saving of your children, that's a good idea. And maybe make it, waterproof or whatever. Or if you want to get plastic sealed bins or something, maybe that mice can't get in and chew up. But decide, okay, all their mementos are going in this thing. Even if you need to put the trophies in there, all the stuff that you want to keep and save for them, because you might want to save it for their children, and just keep it, family heirlooms or whatever. But at least you don't have boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff,
or bins,
or bags,
or bags.
Well, another good thing, and I think that John gave us this idea that he had seen was with the trophies, carving off, taking off the actual date of the trophy and putting it on a wooden plaque, putting a bunch of them on a wooden plaque. And then you actually have it, even though you don't have the actual statuesque of the thing. But you do have that, and we have a friend who does that, so that's gonna be a Christmas gift.
That could be. That's more work, though. I mean, I'd just rather just keep.
I'm not doing it. We're gonna give it to we're gonna pay our friend to do it.
I mean,
you missed the trophy. I mean, I had stuff that showed that I actually could lift weights at one point.
Yeah, we got that. We have that trophy.
Yeah, you have one of them.
Yeah, that we have that at the family house.
Yes, because I have several. Like I said,
Barbara softball trophy here too. So
we
got y'all stuff. Yes.
Yeah, you gotta keep that.
See, we are the problem. We are the problem.
We're the hoarders. We're the
ones. Yes, don't become us.
But you do want to save some of your children's things.
You want to say, and like
they'll be happy that you did, but they'll be mad if you save too much, and then they have to go through things and
if it's anything important.
And then they'll want to save all their stuff, and then it just keeps going on and on.
Oh my goodness, yes. And then remember how Mama used to say, "But don't be throwing out my stuff. There might be money hidden between the pages of those old magazines."
Yeah, that's why we still got magazines from 1959. Yes. Still looking through the pages for the money.
Yes.
Well, we gotta go. We hope you all learned some important tips on how to save responsibly your children's things, and ask them if you aren't sure. Do you want to keep this? Do you want to toss it? Or if you really feel like this has sentimental value, their first shoes. Oh, I want to keep. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. But maybe things like that.
Yeah, maybe you want to keep those things in a container, and make sure that you don't have a whole bunch of those containers stacked up all in the
one container.
One container. And either you can be like I said, we are the problem, so we could either be a good example or take every cautionary tale.
All right, well, we gotta go. We will see you next time. Until that time, we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. Look up 3 Black Moms. And until that time, I'm Naima.
I'm Cheryl.
I'm Barbara. Declutter. Be a minimalist. Bye. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're 3 Black Moms.